Welcome to Tater Time with Big Al and the Tater. Your host, Mr. Caleb Strickland.
Welcome to year 3 of Tater Time. This year, brought to you in honor of Mark Pigg, the supplier of our awesome sports desk. We're taking it up a notch this year. I'm your Tater moderator with your best Tater prognosticators. One Mr. Tater Time and one Mr. Kyle Reed. So, Tater Time.
I'm Tater, not Tater Time. I'm
So
not the
no
show.
last name.
I'm not the show.
No last name. Just Tater.
Your last name isn't Tom?
No.
Oh.
No.
Who knew?
I didn't know this. Okay. All right, so guys, coming out of the summer, what's our big storylines we got?
I would just say I'm pumped
Okay.
for football, and that football is back.
How about
My favorite sport,
we got
the greatest sport ever invented, ever played, ever made.
150 years. This is the 150th
Yeah.
year of college football, and did you know it's kicking off right here in Montgomery, Alabama?
What?
Yeah, the Guardian FCS kickoff game between Youngstown State and the Samford Bulldogs.
Oh yeah, the penguins with the cute scarves. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
Look.
Jim Tressel's team.
That's right.
Oh,
Three
that's right.
tattoos.
That's right. It's now, like I said, it's FCS, but honestly, it's on next week, and I'm gonna be watching. I'm sure you
It'll be on in
guys.
the background.
I don't know what's scarier, a bulldog or a penguin. I guess a bulldog would be more
Terrifying.
Yeah.
All of them are terrifying. All right, so our big storylines coming out of the year. What do we got?
Well, I guess you got the disrespect that Clemson received after they blasted Alabama's doors in the championship game.
Yeah.
And
The perceived
The
disrespect.
perceived. Yeah.
Perceived disrespect.
Well, Dabo was upset about it. I mean, we know that.
Oh, let's do another thing because I was corrected. Sorry, but it's not Dabo. It's Dabo. Dabo Sweeney. We've been
No.
pronouncing it wrong.
No, it's not. I'm
We've been
sorry.
pronouncing it wrong.
It's Dabo.
No,
Dabo.
this is
No.
from somebody that actually used to interview Dabo, which we call him. They said it's Dabo,
Okay.
Oh,
and
that's-
we've been pronouncing it wrong the whole time. So he's letting
So
go.
your biggest storyline coming out of the summer is that we don't say Dabo's name right.
I mean, it's not.
Dabo.
Hey, I don't care. Like Dabo, Dabo, whatever you want to call him.
All right, Kyle, what's your biggest storyline coming out of the summer?
Yeah, I think we got to touch on that. I mean, there's been kind of like these little subtle jabs between Bama and Clemson going back and forth.
Yeah.
Understandably so. Clemson felt a little disrespected by Bama complaining a little bit about their schedule and the
Excuses.
toughness and being worn down, which we know to be the case if you look at Clemson's schedule. But, I can understand that. They won the national championship. They were 15-0.
Mhm.
I mean, they did it in awesome fashion. They looked good doing it. And, they just didn't feel like they were
And
getting
maybe it's just us being
their
upset
respect.
that we weren't the team that went 15-0, and the both times we've lost to them, they've stood in the way of undefeated seasons.
Yeah, which is understandable. But when Dabo comes out and he said that made the comment about Dabo, no, excuse me, I'm gonna go with Dabo because that's his name. But he made the comment that our schedule we won all our games by 30 points or something like that.
Yeah.
Really, he's kind of twisting this. He's kind of putting it in the spin zone a little bit because what it's speaking to is Alabama's team was that good, and it was talking about they were setting records left and right. There's a group called the Football Outsiders that they have a ranking system that's like a situational analysis type thing. So they're an independent group, I promise you, and they actually rated these schedules of both teams. And Alabama had one of the hardest schedules in the country. They played 8 teams in the top 15. That's at the end of the year, not during the season. And Clemson had 1. And guess who it was? A&M, out of the SEC.
Yeah.
So for Dabo to just say that our schedule was weak as theirs is just not true.
Yeah, and let's not
Did
even,
they not get as much respect? Probably.
Let's not get into. We'll get into this afterwards, but let's not get into who they played in their conference championship game. Who they play?
That was it. Pitt? I don't.
I forget who they played, but we played.
Some
Georgia.
practice
We
team.
played,
I don't
we played Georgia and had to come back and beat Georgia. They played Notre Dame. which again I'm going to lay into a little bit later on.
Oh boy.
And
Oh,
we
boy.
got Oklahoma.
Well, let's
so,
I just want to put it there. Mad respect to Clemson. They are
yeah, they
an
earned it.
awesome team.
Hey, they earned it. They beat
Yeah.
Alabama when it mattered. So yeah, they deserve that.
Not
and
just
I'm
when it
I'm
mattered. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, I'm going to come. But again,
Well,
let's
on the scoreboard.
let's do that because I want to second that because I feel like the game was a lot closer than the score indicated. I feel like Bama moved the ball.
I don't know, man.
Bama, if we go back and watch the game, Bama was moving the ball, and let's not forget the first 2 series Clemson had the ball. Everybody forgets this. Lawrence didn't look so great the first 2 series. He looked a little shaken and
They seem
rattled.
to figure it out though.
He did. He figured it out big
Well-
time. He figured it out big time, and we'll compromise and call him Mr. Sweeney, okay, for more respect, Mr. Sweeney.
Oh boy. All right. So we had the transfer portal start this year.
Headache.
Is there any more other than AJ had his name in the transfer portal looking for a new show? Can
Don't
you believe this? It's named after him.
Don't listen to this.
So,
Yeah, that's not true. Not true.
who are our new faces that we need to talk about coming out of the portal?
Out of the portal.
I mean,
I just love that name. I think it just
Portal.
sounds awesome. Yeah, transfer portal.
Yeah.
Are we talking like instantaneous travel? Because I would like
That's what I'm
access to
picturing.
that.
Like
So-
Well,
step in, you know.
I think one guy that'll make a big splash.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
In a new place, old face in a new place. Got Jawan Johnson from Penn State going to Oregon to the
Okay.
Ducks,
Making
splashing
his-
around out there in the
in the
Pac-12.
old duck pond.
The 6'4", 230 receiver. I think he can make a big impact, and I also feel like another new face. He's not a transfer. He's not in the portal or anything. Is Penn State's quarterback Sean Clifford. And to me, this is whether or not Penn State's gonna do anything. Which again, with Franklin, I don't trust that guy, so I don't know if that's gonna be the
Would
case.
you let him watch your dog?
No, I wouldn't.
Ooh, that's bad.
But I'll tell you, if he does leave, I'll help him pack his stuff.
Yikes.
So that's the guy, and then Bo Nix and Joey Gatewood at Auburn. Be excited, Auburn fans.
Alright.
At least one of these is going to be good. So
Who you got on your new faces there, Kyle Reed?
Well, I think first the transfer players that I'm looking at. Obviously, Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
You know, we love us some Jalen.
who's that guy? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Can't wait to see what he does at Oklahoma.
Just kidding.
Yeah.
You got Jacob Eason, quarterback that transferred from Georgia to Washington. He had to sit out a year last year. It'll be exciting to see what he can do. Kelly Bryant's another guy. Clemson to Missouri. Justin Fields, Georgia to Ohio State. There's all these transfer guys that were like highly touted recruits that I'm really looking forward to seeing this year. It's another reason why I'm really looking forward to this season.
And just to clarify, I'll totally joke about Jalen. Jalen's going to have a field day in that conference.
AJ, you already said it. He left Bama and now he's dead to you.
You said he sucked.
I'm pretty sure I heard that. I'm pretty sure if you're not wearing the crimson or the Nittany blue or whatever it is, you're dead to AJ.
Yeah.
So,
Not true. Not true.
But the other faces that I'm thinking about are I'm going to go full homer here, is at Bama with the coaches.
Yeah.
You know, this was pointed to last year as a big reason why Alabama lost focus going into the championship game was they didn't have the coaches on the right page or on the same page. They had their minds on other jobs, possibly.
And let it be known, I'm not very excited about Sarkisian coming back. Just going to throw it out there.
Well, yeah, we got Steve Sarkisian taking over as offensive coordinator. You got Pete Golding taking over as defensive coordinator, which I'm really excited about him. Sal Sunseri's coming back to coach linebackers.
It's not just it's the Sunseri family.
Oh yeah, they
Like,
Vinny's coming.
And his brother.
Yeah.
Is it Tino or Tito?
Right. But it's just going to be interesting to see what the new coaches at Bama can do, and can they actually keep the guys this year? Because that seems to be a huge problem with Bama as far as turnover goes, and guys having to learn new systems. And we've even heard recruits like Justin Ross, wide receiver at Clemson, mention one of the reasons he didn't come to Bama was because of all the coaching turnover, which I can fully understand.
Yeah, you know who's going to coach you.
Yeah.
All right, so speaking of players, who are breakout players this year? Who's really just going to turn it up? Who are we going to start hearing their name a lot on SportsCenter?
Well, I'm going to start at Bama with Najee Harris. I feel like this is his year to shine.
Okay. Think you're
There's
going to run
nobody-
anymore?
There's nobody really that he's got to worry about besides Brian Robinson. You don't have Damon Harris there. You don't have Josh Jacobs, so I feel like this is his time to shine. Also, mentioned him earlier, the big 6'4", 230 receiver from Penn State going to Oregon. Jawan Johnson, I think it's a big breakout year for him. He had, flashes with his overtime win against Iowa a while back. And then I got Sam Ehlinger. I feel like he has a monster season. And I think it's between them and Oklahoma. And I feel like they are going to be the team because of Ehlinger.
So Hurts isn't enough.
I think Hurts.
He can't qualify as a breakout, right?
I mean,
He's already kind of broken
I was
out.
gonna say, he's won a national championship.
Yeah,
So.
and kind of saved the day last year. Well, not kind of. He saved the day last year against Georgia, and kudos to him for that, hanging in there.
Kudos to him.
Yep, kudos to him for hanging in there and showing some class.
Well, my guys are JT Daniels and Amon-Ra St. Brown, his receiver out of USC. These are two true freshmen last year, be sophomores. JT Daniels showed a lot of glimpses of being a special player. He did have some down games, but he was a true freshman. I don't know that he has the best coaching support there. We might talk about that a little bit later. But I think these are two names and a connection between a receiver and a quarterback you're going to be hearing about a lot. And I think he's going to take his game to another level. And the other guy that sticks out is George Pickens, freshman receiver for Georgia. He just went viral like last week in a practice with a crazy catch. If you haven't seen it, look it up. Georgia is really in desperate need of receivers, so this kid should have all the opportunity in the world, even as a true freshman.
Yeah. Pickens picking out of the air.
Ooh, with the puns. All right, so here we go with our bold predictions. We're going to call this a new segment. It's going to be Mark This Down. Mark this down in honor of Mark Pig. Thanks for the desk again. So, what are we marking down on you? This is going to be not a this week. This is going to be a this season. What's your bold prediction? What do we need to write down?
This is going to shock a lot of you. Make sure you're sitting down. Some folks are going to get excited.
You got Auburn winning a national championship.
Not even close. Okay. This comes out of the SEC East. And the big bold prediction out of the East.
Are you even
and
from Alabama?
Hold on a second. I was on the fence with this, going back and forth. But I'm going out there by myself. It's okay. I'm going to do it. Florida will win the East. And the Tennessee Volunteers
and
are
that's
going to
the end
win.
of the show, people. Thank you for calling.
No. And the other one is the Tennessee Volunteers will win 9 games this year and come in third in the East.
Not
behind Georgia.
The
Tennessee Volunteers.
What is going? Are you a Vols fan?
No.
He was listening to Rocky Top when I was coming in.
It's not true. I hate that song.
AJ, first and foremost, let's mark those down. Are you sure? Are you sure you want to be on the record with this?
Hey, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Everybody's buying this
This
Missouri.
is going out on the internet.
Hey, everybody's buying this Missouri, South Carolina garbage. It ain't happening.
All right, moving over to Mr. Reed.
Yeah.
What is your bold prediction for us to mark them down?
Bold prediction, I'm going to have to go out west in the Pac-12.
I know goes west.
I'm saying that the Utah Utes are going to be in the discussion for the playoff. I don't want to quite say they're going to be in, but I think they're going to be at that 4 or 5 position.
So we got Tater thinking the Volunteers are going to come on. You get that? Who's the lady basketball coach that was so good from the
Had some.
She going to be coaching the football team now?
It's going to be the Jeremy Pruitt.
And then you got the mighty Utes.
I got the Utes. I'm going to Utes.
Okay.
Tennessee does have a lot of stars coming back, and I know whatever, but that matters.
Well, this is the reason you're supposed to mark them down. They're bold picks. All right. So why do you think the Utes, man? What you got here?
I'm really a big fan of their defense. They finished in the top 20 last year. They've got 8 guys coming back. So that right there, their defensive line has probably got 3 potential first-round NFL draft picks on it. A good defensive line will keep you in just about any game.
No.
They've got a good secondary. I really love it. I can't emphasize enough how much I love their defense. Their offense, they're getting their quarterback back, Tyler Huntley, who got hurt late last year, who's a solid senior quarterback. Again, it speaks to, I don't think the Pac-12's, a super conference or anything. I think they're going to have good competition, but I think that there's a good chance that they could go 12-0.
Yeah, well, we can just go back to the title game last year. It was exciting. There was like 20 people showed up.
There was, that's true.
I mean, and hey,
was
Utah was there, so hey.
Very sad.
So you got the Utes in your playoff prediction, or is that your who do you have in the rest of the playoff there?
All right, so let's take that back. So I've got Utah or Michigan. That's kind of my toss-up
Okay.
number 4.
Okay.
And I know I'm going back to the
Mitch.
well again and probably going to get burned with
You
this
got
Michigan.
burned so bad last year.
So bad. Yeah, Harbaugh. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know what else to say other than Urban's not there.
Yeah.
You know, that's like the only
Okay.
thing I can say is
So
that.
Urban was the kryptonite.
Yeah, I think. I mean, again, he lost some other games. I don't know. Shea Patterson, I think, set up to have a good year. I think their offense is going to be really good. Their defense is always good. I don't know. I just think they're going to get over the hump. Whatever. It's a hunch. Not even surprised if they lost 4 games though. So number 3, I've got Georgia. I think that.
I think they got a pretty good shot this year. Kirby's been making some moves. He's doing.
We've seen it happen before.
Yeah.
I mean, they were right there at the cusp the last 2 years. They should have beat Bama both occasions. And like I was telling these guys, I think that Kirby's going to get over the hump at some point. Not sure it's going to be this year, but he's right there. He's knocking on the door. You know.
You better hurry up because that clock is ticking, buddy.
Oh, you think he's going to get fired?
No, I don't
Hold
think,
on.
I don't think
Save
he's
your
getting-
hot seat
I don't think he's getting
predictions.
fired. Heck no.
Tater thinks he's getting fired.
No, that's
You
not what
heard
I'm
it
saying.
here.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm saying.
Number
no.
two.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2, I got to go Alabama.
All right.
Okay. Obviously, the offense is elite, has elite talent. Those receivers might be the best receiving core you've ever seen in college football. And I don't feel like that's a homer statement to make. Just a special group. The questions are going to be on the defensive side of the ball, especially with linebacker already losing a player there, 2 players at linebacker. So can they, hold up with the attrition of the season and all that? And then number 1 is Clemson. I mean, what else is new, right?
Yeah.
They've proven themselves to be elite. Trevor Lawrence, all that. Dabo's a great coach. And let's not forget that
Dabo.
easy schedule. No, Dabo.
All right, who's your top 4? Or who's in your playoff there, Tater?
Well,
You got obviously Penn State.
whatever you want to call him.
Tennessee.
Whether you want
Tennessee.
to. All right, guys. calm down. Whether you want to call him Dabo or Dabo, Mr. Sweeney, whatever you want to call him. The Bama beater. I got Clemson. I got Bama. And I think the key again is keeping 2 healthy and staying healthy defensively. Got Texas.
Look, I'm orange.
I do.
Texas.
And
Wow.
this was between Oklahoma
Did
and
you
Texas.
pick Texas last year? Did you take Texas
I think
last
I
year?
did
did
take Texas
I did
last
take
year.
Texas. And
Yeah.
I was wrong on that
That's a
one.
good, yeah.
But-
You got burned.
I did.
You got
Yeah,
burned.
I got burned.
That
We're going
means
right
you're
back.
going back.
That
Going
burnt,
right back.
hey, that burnt orange burned me. But hey,
You're really loving the orange teams.
That's
Madison.
true. That's true.
who's
your 4? Who's your 4?
all right. So my 4. This is another one because I feel like it's a wild card who comes out of the Big Ten. But I think it's going to be one of those Michigan schools, and I think it's the Wolverines.
Oh. Okay. All right, so who do we have on the coaching hot seat? I will tell you my proverbial, every year it seems like one Mr. Gus Malzahn. I feel like he's like living on a wing and a prayer. But he keeps, to his credit, he does pull through when he needs to. But who do you guys have on the old hot seat?
I mean, my number 1 guy to me, and I would almost be willing to put money on it, that Clay Helton will lose his job, maybe even some point mid-season. Clay Helton, head coach at USC.
Oh man, who's the one they planted the curb and they were like, he was the Bama coach. What was his name?
Bill Curry.
No. He went out to USC and he came back to Bama.
Talking about Lane.
No. He's coaching down in Florida. What's his
Lane
name?
Kiffin.
Yeah, Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin.
And they put him in a fire lane.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
So you're thinking another Lane Kiffin for USC here.
Yeah, I think. Okay, so USC went and they fired their offensive coordinator, quarterback from Tennessee. I can't think of his name.
T. Martin.
T. Martin. So they fired him after some struggles on the offensive side of the ball last year, and brought in Graham Harrell, who's former Texas Tech quarterback and was really good at North Texas the last 2 years. So I will say that I think that could help him, but I still don't see them winning. Lynn Swann, AD at USC, has already set the bar at a Pac-12 championship and basically saying that's what our expectations are and making that public. When you make something public like that, you're putting a lot of pressure on him, And I just don't see them winning a Pac-12 championship. I think there's too many stumbling blocks along the way.
All right. Tater, who's your coach in the hot seat?
Well, I got a couple. And first of all, I mentioned them to make the playoff, but if they do not beat Ohio State, they could end up with 3 or 4 losses, and I could see Harbaugh.
Ooh. So your boy either makes it or he's fired.
Yep.
Jeez. Okay.
And
okay.
the other 2 guys, I have Mason at Vanderbilt, Derek Mason.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's had enough time at Vanderbilt, and if he
To what? Get him an SEC championship or something?
not to get him a championship, but to at least be
So you love your Doors
better than what they
It's
have been.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
He took him to
Vanderbilt.
a bowl game.
Okay, hold on now. Hold on. Vanderbilt or not, James Franklin, who I'm not a big fan of, won 9 games
Hasn't
3 years in a
Derek
row.
Mason beat Tennessee like 2 or 3 times already?
Has he won 9 games? Has he won 9
But-
conference games?
But it's
Who else has he beat besides Tennessee, though?
It's Vanderbilt.
I get it.
You gotta be too smart to go there.
I get it, but you got to beat more than one team in the conference.
Oh man. All right.
So I got them, and I also have Gus Malzahn at Auburn.
All right.
Yeah. My theory on him is 7-5. He's probably out. 8-4. He's probably in. And then we have to mention Will Muschamp.
Yeah.
And I think Will Muschamp and Gus Malzahn kind of go hand in hand with they have 2 of the tougher schedules in the country.
Yeah.
And how are they going to perform or coach in these big games? If they get blown out, they're gone.
Yeah.
It's going to be how do they perform in these big games. If they hang in there or even slip up and win one, I think they're okay. But those 2 guys right there, be watching out.
Okay. All right. So Tater has a new segment announcement for us. You're hearing it here for the first time. What you got, Tater?
All right, so the announcement is this. So this year we're going to do something a little different since we all went to different high schools in the area, Wetumpka, Prattville, and Stanhope Elmore. I've decided, in honor of my friend that passed away recently, Josh Hill. He played football at Stanhope. I'm going to start going to the Friday night games, like of these 3 high schools, like the big games. So we're going to pick one and rotate it out to each one each week. But in honor of the Jayhawk, that's what we'll be doing this year, and I'll be coming back recapping the next week on the high school game of the week. But also want to mention, before we get out of here, I wanted to get my moment to talk about Notre Dame a little bit.
Man, dude.
'Cause
Dude,
Here it
the
comes.
show is over.
Here it comes.
The show is over,
No,
and
no.
AJ's got to get here and
No.
give him
He
his
can't
soapbox.
keep it, yeah.
Look, the
No.
man hates
He's
the
about to
Irish.
tee off. He's
No.
about to tee off.
Go. All right, go ahead.
So look, last year I said I would never doubt the Irish again. Well, that's out the window.
Oh. How the Tater has turned.
Let me say this. They had me hook, line, and sinker last year, and I don't know why we keep falling for it. It's not just me. There's other folks
It
that
probably
fall
has
for
something to do
them.
with them going 12-0.
It might have something to do with their Notre Dame.
AJ.
I'm just saying. And here's my take on it. So going back to last year, and let me say this, start this by, when was the last time that the Notre Dame Fighting Irish won a meaningful game? Was it when Lou Holtz was there?
Dude.
Was it when Rudy was there?
AJ.
I mean, let's
Look.
be serious. They were not good in the BCS era. Every time they played a championship, they get their doors blown out, or they played a playoff. To me, I would have much rather seen the Georgia Bulldogs play the Clemson Tigers last year. It would have been a much better game than what Notre Dame showed up.
I will always seize the opportunity to trash the Irish, but
And hold on, another
on,
thing,
man.
another
Their
thing.
schedule is not cake.
It's not the schedule. Here's the thing. We keep hearing about how unfair their schedule is year in and year out. It's so nauseating. Who cares? Look, here's the deal. It's your own fault. You don't want to share revenue with anybody because you're Notre Dame and you shouldn't have to share your revenue. Well, guess what? You're in ACC in baseball. You're in ACC in basketball. So guess what? Either you join football and get in the conference, which you should have been playing Clemson in the ACC title game had you been in the ACC already, and we wouldn't have to worry about this.
So you're calling for a ban of the playoffs.
But I feel like the way you handle this, they had a chance last year. They could have made a big statement last year. You're not in a conference. you can be, you should be in,
Simmer down, AJ.
and
Simmer down.
you should be there. So to me, if they
Tater
go 12-0,
Keeps going.
but if they go 12-0 again, even with Georgia and Michigan on their schedule, I still feel like they shouldn't be in.
Somebody get this man a Xanax.
Yeah. And that, folks, was a Tater incinerator.
I'm just
Just
guys,
make sure
like,
to
why do
join
we
us
keep giving
every
them a break?
Thursday for Tater Time. All right,
I think that's gonna be pretty good.
I do too.